Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the various shipping services and doing a review. Just kind of talking a little bit about which ones you might want to use. You got USPS, obviously United States Postal Service. You got FedEx, and you got UPS. Obviously, you got DHL and TNT and some others that are kind of smaller shipping companies, more specialized in the international deliveries and things like that. But for today's discussion, we're going to focus on USPS, FedEx, and UPS. Whether you run some kind of online store, you sell on eBay, maybe you just ship a lot of stuff back and forth between you and business partners, clients, whatever. You want something that's fast, reliable, cost effective. Heck, this info could even be used just for shipping personal packages, but if you pay $2 more to ship something and it's just a one-time thing, it doesn't really matter. However, if you're running some type of online business or shipping products to customers, obviously over the course of the year you're gonna go through hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of transactions. And even if you're just saving 50 cents or $1 on each package, that's going to start to add up really, really quickly. So I guess first we'll start with USPS. A lot of people knock them, and early on I was kind of knocking them too. They're far from perfect, but from a cost perspective, you're generally not going to find anything cheaper. Some people will argue, FedEx is cheaper if you negotiate your rates and things like that. You got to be a pretty big shipper for that. Same thing with UPS. There are certain instances where maybe heavier packages, UPS may be cheaper than Postal Service or something like that. But overall, generally, USPS is going to be probably your cheapest option. They also have a ton of different mailing options. You got first class mail, which is cheap and relatively quick. They claim 2 to 5 days. Some packages, it's really weird. I've had packages get to from the Midwest get to Hawaii in 1 day. I've had other packages take 10 days to get to Florida. The one thing I did find was packages do not arrive within that 2 to 5 day window that they promise. It wasn't uncommon 6, 7 days. Even had some take 8, 9, 10 days. But that is a really cheap shipping service. If you're just shipping documents or something really light, some headphones that you sold on eBay or an iPod or something like that, you can probably ship it first class for about $1.75. So you really can't beat that. Then you got the priority mail. The priority boxes, priority flat rate envelopes, and things like that. The nice thing about that is, you don't need a postal scale. You don't got to be careful about weighing things. Like they say, if it fits, it ships. I love the priority flat rate envelopes. You can stuff a lot of stuff in there. It doesn't matter about the weight. They arrive quick. The other thing I like first class, since it's in a larger envelope, I think it's harder for them to lose. I believe tracking automatically comes with priority. I'm a big fan of the priority flat rate envelope for $4.75. Then you got the priority flat rate boxes. I've heard a lot of people complain about these. You got to be smart about what you're shipping. I've shipped copper bars before, and that's really a steal. I'm sure my mail people hate me, but that's really a steal. You can cram, I believe it's up to 70 pounds in a flat rate box, and it ships for the cost of $10 if it's a medium flat rate box. I think it's like 14 if it's one of the larger ones. But that's a fantastic deal. However, you also hear of people shipping like really light things in a flat rate box just because it's easy. They provide the box, and then they complain that they paid $14 to ship, a box of noodles or something like that. But it's your own fault. If you would have shipped it something light like that, you're going to want to ship in your own packaging and not do like a flat rate package, because you're paying for those people. You're basically paying to make up for those people who are shipping 70 pounds in those same boxes. But I think USPS has a wide variety of options. I like using them. I like how with priority packages, they give you the envelopes and or boxes, which saves you cost. I think a lot of people take for granted how expensive packaging can get. I mean, obviously if you're buying in bulk, you're going to get better prices. But if you're just walking into Walmart to buy a padded envelope, you're looking at about $1.19 for a padded envelope. So those costs definitely start to add up. It helps being able to use Postal Service's packaging and things like that. Moving on to FedEx. FedEx is probably my second most popular shipping service. I don't use it very often at all, just because people aren't willing to pay for the extra cost associated with it. I think they may be a little bit more reliable, definitely with like overnight packages or FedEx Express packages. FedEx Ground, I don't know the ins and outs of FedEx, but I believe FedEx Ground packages are delivered by contractors versus actual FedEx employees. A lot of people complain about problems. Those guys, they're just trying to get the packages out. They don't really care. Not to say they don't care, but they're not as concerned about accuracy as maybe, say, a UPS employee, or I guess I don't want to say Postal Service employee. But, it's a contractor. I've had some packages that have gotten lost. I've also had some packages that have, been delivered to the wrong house. Unfortunately, some kind of larger customers of mine. Fortunately, I guess their neighbors have been nice enough to return the packages to them, but that potentially could have caused some problems. Tracking is much better with FedEx Express than it is with Postal Service. Didn't want to really get into a compare and contrast right off the bat. Wanted to run through all these, but just to give you an idea, Postal Service, unless you're shipping, what is it? I believe it's USPS Express overnight, then the tracking is really accurate. But if you're shipping priority or anything else, I believe I was told by a Postal Service employee they have to scan it upon receiving the package, and they have to scan it upon delivery. But anything in between, they're not required to scan it. Sometimes scans will come up, but that's just kind of a courtesy. In general, they don't have to scan it besides upon pickup and upon delivery. So that can definitely, for you don't really know where your package is at, and if you get, I hate to say annoying customers, but I'm sure if you've ever shipped anything on eBay or anywhere else, you got those customers who it's less than 24 hours after they place their order and they're already hounding you about where's my package at and things like that. Even though they didn't want to pay for an upgraded shipping option. So that's something to consider too. I've had packages where I ship something USPS first class. Thing takes 10 days to get there, and basically nothing shows up besides the receipt of receiving the package at the post office until it's delivered. Whereas with FedEx Express, that thing's tracked every step along the way. However, with ground, for a while I was offering ground shipping to my customers for a higher price, thinking that the tracking was better. But I guess ground packages all go by either semi-truck or possibly even train. But basically, they're scanned when they get on that truck, and potentially they got to journey all the way across the country before it's ever getting scanned again. So the tracking on that isn't much better. So I find I haven't been really using FedEx much just because, I got to wind up charging my customers $5 to $10 more for a FedEx ground package than I do for a priority. Priority is going to get there in 2 to 3 days. Ground is probably, you're looking, sometimes you get it in 2 to 3 days, but ground, a lot of times you're looking more at about 5 days. So basically they're paying $10 more to receive the package, probably slower than priority mail, and the tracking isn't any better. So I really don't see much of an advantage of that. And to be honest, I kind of try to talk customers out of that when they inquire about FedEx, unless it's like a really large order, expensive shipment. The last one we got is obviously UPS. The one thing I do like about UPS, and I should comment on this about USPS as well, they're both integrated into PayPal. So if you use PayPal, you can print your shipping directly from PayPal. It keeps your tracking numbers in PayPal. Basically just cuts out a lot of the organization you would have to do on your own. When I ship a package through FedEx, I got to ship the package online, and I got to go enter the tracking number, and then I got to keep track of my costs for that shipping. Whereas if I do it through PayPal, I can do all my shipping through USPS and UPS, and it keeps all my shipping information there. It takes some money directly out of my PayPal account. Just makes it easier for organization, convenience, a lot of factors like that. As far as UPS, I've had a pretty good experience with UPS. I think they're kind of on par with FedEx when it comes to ground. To be honest, I want to say they were actually a little bit cheaper for me going through PayPal. I think there's some discounts associated with PayPal and eBay. But yeah, basically, USPS, FedEx, and UPS. I'm a big fan of USPS. At first I kind of ragged on them, and I had a lot of customers complaining about them, and a lot of customers requesting options besides USPS. However, I think part of the problem there was that I was shipping first class when I probably should have been shipping priority. Cost a few more bucks. I wound up passing those costs on to customers, but I think people are happy to get their package a few days earlier, have a little bit better tracking on it. FedEx, like I said, good option, but it's going to cost more. It's not necessarily going to get your package there any quicker. I would say if you got something really important or really expensive you're sending, maybe go FedEx, but I would say do Express over ground. UPS, same thing. I would say, bump it up from ground. Actually, the UPS ground tracking isn't bad, but I would bump it up to 2-day air or something like that. It's relatively cheap, and it's going to get there quicker. The shipping's going to be just a better overall service. But there's kind of a breakdown of the shipping services for you. If you're trying to decide who to go with, I would recommend going with all three. Some customers prefer one over the other. It's just nice to offer some different options to people. So that's the discussion on shipping today. We might do a similar kind of breakdown or review on the blog as well. So check that out.